Oh, nice. I didn't know that we could do these. I didn't know that we could do. I didn't know I could do my audio checks in the preview. That's so convenient. Jeez. Already. How's everybody doing for today? Why on earth did I mute my own audio check? There's no reason for that. All right. Hi. We have a few folks in the chat here now. I'm going to pull this. Tell you what, I'm going to put this over here. Oh, Ranos, I don't think. Did I leak the DMs? Not quite. Hello, Six of Swords as well. Alrighty. This is going to be an actually short stream. An actual short stream. I am waiting on. I gotta go pick up a new Corsair keyboard that is going to be distinctly better than this sound that you can hear now. Reno says, I saw them though. Well, that doesn't mean that I leaked them. They just, appeared on screen. What a moment. Now, if I turn on Mr. Crawford, this is going to have Druid Survey, Circle the Moon, blah, 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 satisfaction. They barely talk about the Paladin here. That's insane. It's not even there. Rando said, are you not a loud keyboard dude? Seems like the keyboard people love having loud, annoying keys. Well, I don't really mind them being loud. I just mind them being sticky and encumbering. I have large fingers, which, believe it or not, actually is not really conducive to using small keyboard or large keys on the keyboard. I need them to be tight. I need them to be small. I love the rough size and sensitivity of my Chromebook keyboard, but that comes with the issue of my Chromebook is a Chromebook, and also my hand is roughly 3/4 of the size of the keyboard. One hand. So that causes a couple of issues. So what are we doing here today? We are... Yeah. So, my players are going to be here in about 2.5 hours. Which means, realistically speaking, I have like 1 hour of prep. I have a new player. We have 2 new players coming to the table, one of which is requesting a sort of custom magic item. We might give it to them. No, it's probably just going to be a +1 oath bow. But it's a good time to get some notes down. I decided that in the future, I'm going to be adding my, I'm going to be using Foundry to just write notes in the background, do some game prep in the background whenever I'm live streaming, because I think it makes for a little bit more entertainment and isn't just me sitting around doing whatever. But yeah. There's plenty of loud keyboard people. Listen, I just need something that is fast enough for me to do some stuff. But as you folks might have noticed in the Jeffro live stream, the world state has changed somewhat. The frost has advanced. The previously activated sun shrines have shut down. But the presence of a new coral spire has made for a pretty good has proven a barrier against the frost in a fashion that's slightly different from how the sun shrines usually do so, which means that the town of Saderstall now no longer covered in frost. So maybe what happens is the players attempt to recover Saderstal, or maybe the army that's currently at Saderstal goes up to attack Zelile's Spire. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We have a bunch of players coming back to the campaign soon that have a bunch of resources at their disposal. Yeah, this is where Mr. What's-his-face is going to be. That's where Flinteril and... What was his name? I can't believe I forgot his name. It was an A name, which is probably what's causing me the most an issue when trying to remember it. Armorin? No, it wasn't Armorin. Cassie. Altan! That was his name. Okay. Anyways, the players are going to go over to the Isle of Dread over here. Sort of writing down some faction details. They're going to be going into a dungeon specifically. So... well, Angel's Fear. Well, Cave. Angel's Fear. And on top of that, we have a little video from... we already went over earlier. For some reason...
But here the story is going to be to people. We're now basically bringing them in.
I can't believe that they put... yeah, Druid and Paladin survey launch, but they didn't put any information about Paladin discussion. But probably because the Druid just overshadowed literally everything. Because now I have to go searching. User. That's so weird. Why can't I say... oh, you know what? It's probably... as link. Okay. Alright, I get it now. This is some multitasking here. So, players are going to be going into a dungeon tonight. I'm thinking that I send them into a volcano-themed dungeon. Durian, during our last live stream while I was preparing this, mentioned that it might be fun to include some lava ankegs, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I thought that was pretty fun. Lava ankegs. Maybe I make this a little bit of a volcanic area. World shape, Oop, I've nearly found it. There we go. Alrighty. What are you guys up to today? How is your Good Friday going? We have Durian. Hey, Durian, you're here. We have Ranos, we got Kingsbury, and Six of Swords. Unity, Alright, let's look at this Paladin here. Look at this guy. Let's look at this filler. Get a few more folks in. I don't think I need to be that worried about showing my URL. on this particular tab here. Let's go over it. Alright, class group is Priest for the Paladin. There wasn't much that I wanted to go over for the Paladin, except for a few spell interactions. Multiclassing in the Paladin, ability score minimum. Proficiencies gained. Armor training with the following: light armor, medium armor, and shield spell slots. Add half your stuff. Okay, that's interesting. Just include the multiclassing information in all of these now. We get to decide how much of the gold for training goes up to the trainer and how much of it is used up in materials. Who gets to decide? Alright, assuming you're talking about 1E, if it's not in the book, I would probably assume that like half of it maybe goes to the trainer or trainers. I might go so far as to wonder, or to say if there's multiple trainers between... And I'm unaware of this, of course. It's probably going to be the subject of whatever our next Rules You Might Have Missed video is. But I might go so far as to say that there might be multiple trainers, like one trainer per level that you're going to. Teaching you new stuff, so it might be that's not all going to one person, but rather being spread out quite a bit. Let's see here. Lay on hands. Aha, they spelled out the magic action. You can touch a creature, which could be yourself, and draw power from the pool of healing to restore a number of hit points to that creature up to the maximum amount remaining in the pool. In addition, you can remove the poison conditions. Okay. Fine. Just Divine Smite. Hey, here we go. Okay. Second level. Divine Smite. When you strike a target, you can channel Divine Energy to smite it. Immediately after you hit a target with an attack roll using a weapon or unarmed strike. Interesting that they finally adjusted that. You can expend one spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target. The damage is 2d8 for a first level spell slot, plus 1d8 for each slot level higher than first. Oh, wow. Oh, they screwed. You could use Divine Smite no more than once during a turn, and you can't use it on the same turn that you cast a spell. Alright, well that's pretty embarrassing, I would say. I think that indicates, again, lacking stupid designers, likely lacking in moral character, who don't know how to design for their game. This is so strange. Was this a massive problem, having paladins have like a niche of basically, smite slots that they would dump a considerable amount of resources in critical moments in combat to kind of like change the tide of battle? I always thought that was a pretty good niche for the paladin. Apparently, WotC wants to scale them back to holy fighters, which is a little bit embarrassing. They removed, it looks like, so maybe it's somewhere later in here, but my favorite example, or how you could properly adjudicate or properly design class features and player characters that were specialized against specific enemy types, was the Paladin. This used to be, I don't know about any, any quote-unquote issues with multi-classing was just people having too much fun. And Dungeon Masters being upset that they were having fun in 5e. Because that's not the point of 5e. A little bit of water, we're good. So my favorite example, my go-to example, was the Paladin, because it used to be, in 5th edition, the damage is 2d8 for first level spell slot. My hair is attempting to crawl inside my mouth. Plus 1d8 for each slot level higher than first. And then there was an addendum, which was if the creature you were striking was a fiend or undead, that creature would take an additional 1d8 damage. So it was my favorite example for here is a character which is at a baseline, effective and strong versus everything, but against their favorite enemy, right? The thing that they're supposed to be better at fighting against. They also happen to be even more effective. They happen to be extremely deadly against that specific creature type. And it looks like they're getting rid of that, which is fascinating too. They turn to your faithful steed. Subclass feature. And Jack Kingsbury also asked, let's see, we have two things. Suicide. No, Ranos was the initial person who asked. Let's hear. Is it just me, or is the ability to use lay on hands on yourself? Does the ability. Thank you, man. Use lay on hands on yourself seem wrong. I understand where you're coming from. I can imagine a version of the Paladin which only gets benefits to themselves for like healing and smiting and damage, incidentally, by virtue of healing other people, healing their allies, healing the weak, protecting the weak, and smiting the bad guys. Which certainly would be interesting. I can see why they didn't take that approach in 5th edition. I'm not too pressed about it, if that makes sense. See, observe foes. Here's another one. You expend one use of your channel divinity to overwhelm foes with divine awe. No special effects for fiends or undead here. We have another thing. Radiant strikes. You always get an extra 1d8 radiant damage. No benefits for fiends or undead. Fascinating. Yeah, they never did. It's fascinating to me. And the thing that Jack Kingsbury asked was, I'm thinking that at a low level, you could just park your hero in a castle and have him train people up. Short money, short XP, but good for reputation and making contacts. I don't know if you would get XP for that. Curious. First, let's see here. The first D&D joke I ever told when I comes back. It's funnier when you're 10. Aw. They always seem like a divine power acting through a paladin to help others. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's understandable. Your sacred weapon. Does this help? Nope. Smite of protection. Nope. Nothing for Holy Nimbus. Wow. Just nothing against fiends or undead. The paladin. Okay. All right. That's my review of the paladin. 1 D&D. No video necessary for folks. It's bad and was designed by stupid people. That's my feedback. Any other things? Any other new announcements from either 1D&D or other people in the tabletop RPG space that you folks are looking to get reviewed? I'm not gonna worry too much about that. There it is. I disconnected briefly. Ranos, I haven't been following 1D&D. How is it shaping up? Poorly. Poorly. It looks to be worse in just about every fashion. Nothing preferable, nothing interesting. Nothing that really gets people excited, if that makes sense. Let's see here. I have like 3 items that I'm looking at. I'm currently from doing some freelancing for Fool's Moon Entertainment between jobs. This is interesting. Alright. Forms, Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Alright. 2,000 followers, why not? Might as well hop on a show. We're getting really close to 500. This is fascinating. Be on camp because we stream. This needs to be streaming experience. Yeah. 8:30 p.m. EST. Sunday nights. Yeah, I can manage that. Maybe go by. Views 1 GP equals 1 XP. Yes. But recall that I think it needs to be gold pieces gained while adventuring. Oh, interesting. I can't copy that over while I do this. Okay. Special handles. No XP for tax revenue. You know, somebody was asking that in one of the Broisnark group chats recently. And what was my specific answer to that question? Axe, yeah, I think Axe does. And we were talking with B-Dubs, who is the... Days you are available. Let's say... Let's see here, I'm not available on the 9th. So let's say just April 16th onwards. Cool. A professional narrator and voice actor. Yes, I do have experience creating real-time content. Ooh. In first edition, I think there are specific restrictions on the kind of, like adventuring gold is the thing that gets you experience. And there's a few things outside of that that will also net you experience. Like selling magic items. And animated. As in, folks, alright. Congratulations, I'm enlisting you all. Folks, how would you describe me? As an on-screen personality? Some of these questions are... some of these questions are understandable. Something hit me with spam. Alright, if you're a creator, what is your role in the tabletop RPGs you run or create for, and what are some projects you've been involved in or own? Ooh. Publisher, writer, marketer. And again, all other hats. You're a creator. What tabletop RPG products have you created or contributed to? We would love for Just drop them below. So let's see here. What are my big ones? Airships of probably Airships of Brachus. Astral Tides was the next big one, and the really big one after that was Chilmus Valley. Proudest, coolest moment in the tabletop RPG space? Ooh, I don't know. Like, yes, proudest moments. Discussions of other content. Now, it's something I might be particularly interested in discussing is player designers versus referee designers. Nobody plays 5e. Oh, if only. So, proudest, coolest moment in the tabletop RPG space. It probably... I think it was probably Astral Tides. There's extra stuff that I wish I could have done with Astral Tides. There's extra stuff I wish I could have done with all my tabletop games. But like what is it? Seven Willows. I was looking at adding something about firewood to the, and I promise this would have been a fun, cool mechanic because I love. I was looking at adding a system to the exploration system, subsystem, regarding firewood and the collection of firewood, and some results for stuff that firewood would do in something like a magical forest, and stuff that you get, special results for collecting amber, which is the currency, the primary currency. It's also something used for crafting and spell components, and some of its interactions with torches, because I love making fun niche interactions between the world around you and equipment that typically doesn't see as much use. Torches obviously do still see use, but their use is passive, right? Light a torch, the torch provides you with light, and nothing else happens, and that's totally fine. But sometimes, depending on the space that I'm working in, I like to use extra. I like to produce, being a tabletop RPG player, maybe we'll do that. DMing or GMing. I guess it's not tools or technologies. Maybe world building? I mean, I've written a novel in my setting, and I wrote a source book based off my cosmology. So I guess so. So, probably, funding. Who is Ken Nordine? Source book before WotC had gotten around to Spelljam. How would I describe myself? Smooth-voiced, real D&D describer. Opinionated, tabletop fan. Enjoyer. Was my Discord username. So that's the only issue. It's not letting me collect this. But I can do that after stream. After the stream. I'll finish that up. Okay. The expectations. Alright, back to the game prep. Because we got a whole bunch of extra people here now. I feel like a con's call. Durian says a snake, on a hat, on jello, on the internet. Alright, fair enough. Rana said, I feel like a con called Storytellers wouldn't enjoy people trying to pin down real D&D. Maybe. Maybe. I don't think that this isn't a con. I think this is a show, it looks like. Interesting. So if I look at these folks, it looks like they have this is probably not going to come together for quite a long time. But there's no issue with that. Let's check out this link tree here. I still don't know what you mean by Ken Nordine, by the way. Is that a voice actor? One small studio. Surely there's a YouTube here. Yeah, there is. I didn't say I wanted to subscribe, but that's certainly interesting. Oh, there's a little thing here. My noise gate still. Yes, it is. Perfect. Ken Kniff from Connecticut. Trying to trip me up here. Unbelievable. Okay, so we're gonna close this out. And this, we're gonna leave that up. We're gonna shuffle this over somewhere, some other place. So I have a few extra stuff here. Got fireflies. I think I had another one besides Grave of the Fireflies. Shoot. Bunch of grognards posting their favorite smooth voicers in chat, apparently. Ah, there you go. And somebody should have done Don LaFontaine. I used to do a pretty good impression of him. This was back when he was alive, I think. Don LaFontaine being the in the world guy. This summer, one man loses his wallet. Okay, so I have how many players are coming with me tonight? Let's see which players. I know that I have Landy. I don't know which character Landy is bringing. It might be Maya, Sierra, or Jesse. Actually, I think Jesse hasn't come up yet. Session times. Yeah, Jesse has not. Jesse has yet to arrive. Jeffro Johnson asks, does James ever sleep? Absolutely not. How you feeling, buddy? How you feeling after that hot interview we did the other day? Okay, so... do I have tonight? Oh, that's right. Okay, so I had... Damn, I had some crappy players leave for no apparent reason. I'm glad that they did. You're feeling stellar! That's congratulations. Okay, so, Hera is on her way. Who else is going to come? Okay, so Landy's coming. Nijako, who is a paladin. New reactions. Yes, Bar-Ur. Who I think is bringing a Ranger Warlock. And MGSV fan. Cool. Also bringing a... What character are they bringing? Shoot. Have they not posted? I'm gonna kill them. Running for your NPR interview with Terry Goss. Let's see here. Ranos asked, is this a Broasar-style campaign run in 5e? Yes. 5th edition is the primary RPG that I have experience with. It's one I've been designing for, or redesigning for some time. Okay, back to the characters. I don't know if this person actually made a character. If they didn't, they're not going to be able to play tonight. It's not happening. What elf? Alternate book. Yeah, maybe they are a rogue. Yes, it absolutely is Haram, however. No, so running a Broasar, the key to running Broasar style is generally speaking that you need a lot of Ranos. Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me, buddy. So the issue with running a Broasar style in something like 5th edition is that the Broasar style is reliant on certain structural elements that are critical to having a grand campaign, that naturally produce a grand campaign. Some of those are easy to put in 5th edition, like 1-to-1 time. That's not too big of an issue. Some of them need to be built from quite literally the ground up. And while AD&D has... So, let's take mass combat, for instance. AD&D has 1-to-10 and 1-to-20 figure scaling. It also has battle system. And it also has chainmail. And these things are more or less compatible altogether with one another for handling mass combat. 5th edition has virtually nothing. 5th edition has some third-party elements. It has strongholds and followers, which I will defend. I think it is a good product. There is also Kingdoms and Warfare, which I have not used before. So maybe you could use those. But the issue of making third-party products is they're often not really hooked in to what the players are doing. They're often sort of designed, when you get these supplements, to not interfere with the base character sheet or be reliant upon the base character sheet. Chilmus Valley didn't do that, but you don't have Chilmus Valley. And while I certainly recommend playing it once it comes out, and certainly purchasing it, this is... I would never recommend that you ever do that from the... just never. I would never recommend that you build domains, settlements, exploration material for 5th edition from the ground up. 4th edition, tell you what, if you want to build something from the ground up, do it for our 4th edition. There's a very clear power structure to it. There's a pretty obvious focus. There are clear hooks into mass combat and exploration that you can make use of, like the way that certain powers interacted with... Elfinder General asked me this question several days ago, and I promised I would answer it on stream. I guess I'm fulfilling that answer now, but it's somewhat late. The way that you would integrate mass combat in 4th edition is you would give each unit a power that the associated player could use in combat. And this would in some way have an impact on the other actions that your party was taking at the table. And that would be fine. You could use that. You would basically use the player characters as an engine for killing the enemy army faster while they were themselves engaged in the throes of a normal combat. I'm gonna yank this over here. Cave of Angel's Fear. We're gonna put some pancakes. Yeah, and I'm no stranger to making functionally new games out of 5th edition. But I've been doing it for the better part of a decade now, and I hate it. Everything is worse. Everything is made more difficult by my attempting to do this. Chanticleer did it in early 2021. I felt like the house rules could not paper over the flaws of the game and the mindset it encourages. I've had a little bit of extra luck. I wouldn't say luck. I have, due to my experience with 5th edition, and because I've already been running West Marches for several years. So switching over to a proper Brownstein was not so difficult. And I had a lot of house rules sort of incorporated from observing the game over time. Like, okay, actually, it's probably 5th edition actually gets kind of better at the play experience of 5th edition gets better at higher levels. But the problems change from low levels to higher levels. As you get into the higher levels, stuff like the monster design really starts interfering with the flow of the game. Jeffro says, I'm relieved that there's a difference between the West Marches and a Brownstein. I'm not exactly clear on what that difference is as of yet, but I'm happy to use a different term, mostly because the West Marches is as I explained to you on an earlier stream, is a specific campaign. That's where it comes from. Say anime constructs. Armor, flying sword, bit of smothering. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna say that those are 3 main highlights. First floor. Also, obviously, have an elevator. Maybe I do something with one of these factions here. Ghost Pirates, Mercury, Dracolich. Maybe. Roundup says, I'm fairly sure that West Marches is just a hex crawl with multiple different parties. Yes, there's not really a focus on domain play by standard. It's just the definition of sandbox used to be, even though it implied Brownstein, but the definition of sandbox used to be just, it's a way of, let's see here. It's just a way of seeding multiple different preset adventures around the map and allowing you to use resources and developments and other adventures to progress your own. Yeah, doesn't really have much to do with timekeeping. It's just multiple parties, multiple DMs, multiple adventures in a sandbox map. West Marches did integrate a multi-level campaign, though, that I'm going to disagree with. And that's usually pretty common in West Marches, to my knowledge. Yeah, Hexwall, there's things on the map, and you could go anywhere and do what you want. Yeah. So it's clear to see why these kept coming up in the same context. But we're separate from adjudicating, like, the uh, like the armies of Legend of the Five Rings going across the campaign map and disagreeing with their generals, disagreeing with their shoguns, and not actually not following proper orders. Right? That was something of a separate. That would be distinct from West Marches style play, even though they are evocative of one another. I like mass combat in Durian the Sleepy says I like mass combat in Pathfinder First Edition. One level 15 Barbarian beat an army of 100 level 1 footmen. Changes from yes, too much power creep to well, where are the palisades? Interesting. Hex Crawl, yeah. The framing is that correct play elements are just one among many playstyles. That's not a function of West Marches, though. That's a function of online tabletop discourse. Which is why we know it as a West Marches, because again, it was one person specific campaign. And if you want to play like that one person specific campaign, that's where West Marches shows up. Right? West Marches is one of the few endorsements that modern tabletop campaigns have. Because you can say, here is a campaign that somebody ran. If you would like to play like them, here's how you do it. Right? It is the modern fantasy trip. It is the modern Greyhawk. It is the modern until Trilopolis came around. It is an alternative to merely playing D&D correctly. No. It came around before we had a language for that. We didn't have play D&D correctly when the West Marches came about. It was somebody authentically rediscovering correct play elements that made the game better. In that kind of like bottom-up fashion. I'm generally opposed to pitching the Braunstein as competition with West Marches. It's just that West Marches are an incomplete rediscovery of correct play elements. Let's see here. What do I do for the second floor of this cave? I don't want to use spiders. Jeffro says, I can tell. Yeah, I find it very annoying when high performers in a specific field start attacking each other. If there's if there's a general thrust of a community which is 90% wrong, and then you have 10% of that community which is on the whole about themselves probably, let's say, like they're halfway aligned, right? Which is way lower than it actually is in terms of what they value and what they would like to, what their ideal game would look like. I find it very annoying. I don't like seeing my buddies go after Matt Colville. I don't like seeing my buddies go after Critical Role. I think it's weird. It's much more preferable for somebody like me. And obviously, my solution to this quote unquote problem is I just do this, right? We're gonna look up Donjon because I need to look up 5th edition monsters or gleaming. Wait, no, I shouldn't look up Donjon. It's done. I already have a solution to this problem here. No, I don't think I should obviously antagonize them. Well, let's pick up some stuff from Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And supposedly there is an Isle of Dread Supposedly there's an Isle of Dread 5th edition PDF. It has, like, nothing in it. Alright, let's switch to monsters. Monsters humanoids. We do that. D&D needs its hardliners. That's a fact. Yeah, that is true. Let's sort by type. Alright, still, nobody has given me stuff that the second room of the second floor of my dungeon, which is going to be in, like, a volcanic terrain, should include. Rubik Cube. Have you solved the puzzle? I was always terrible at those. I'm stupid. Oh, oozes. That might be fun. I'll come back to that. First, I'm looking at humanoids. Oh, should there be a bunch of elves? Huh. Frost Druid. Flame Wrath. Dragonwing. Eternal Flame Guardian. Some of these look fun. Red One asks, so when do I get to be a patron? If you... Oh, a bunch of people said so. Okay, so, Red One asks, when do I get to be a patron? Well, there's patreon.com/RubeJelly, of course, which is funny, but more stuff is getting uploaded there. I think tomorrow evening, after I get back from the Blue Bonnet Trail. But, as far as a patron for Chilmus Valley, if you're on the Discord, message me and ask, I would like to be a patron. You at Brigandine has already got the majority of his thing set up, the majority of his domain set up. Here, expert, humanoid, any race. Maybe it should be cultist. Who should be in here? I feel like it should be humans that have just kind of like been turned mad for whatever reason. Maybe if alright, we're gonna start off with pirate. Vampirate. Ooh. A Patreon to patron pipeline, exactly. Let's see. Rano said that Matt Colville seems like he spent like a decade circling around the real D&D Broasar discovered in 2020. Yeah, I get that vibe from him too. He has a really weird way of phrasing things. Maybe I should start grouping these by add path part. I'm gonna add a folder in here called Pirates. Great folder. Perfect. Humanoids, and we're just going to trash. Select monsters. Pirates. Beyond the Witchlight. I don't think any of these have sort of pirate characters, but maybe they do. Red One says, as long as I don't have to run battle system. No, I have my own. I had, as part of building this module for 5th edition, I had to build my own mass combat system. And as a result, I made Boogie Pirate, Pirate Bosun. I'm gonna do all of these except for that guy. Actually, you know what? Maybe a Neogi would be fun here. Screw it. Barbarians on Triceratops are cool. I assume you can't just scale up like you can in 1E. Correct. Because 5E is bad. And using any of their stuff at scale makes it pretty clear that it just doesn't work properly. Alright, so we have a Neogi pirate here. What is going to be the assumption? I guess this guy's going to be oh, he's small. So actually, maybe he's been captured. Ah. Mental fortitude. You can't put you to sleep. Okay. Wow, that's boring as all hell. No, not quite, not quite. Second floor. So we're gonna say first room, off the bat, has pirates, one bosun, definitely gnolls. I don't know if gnolls are coming in here. And we'll have, like, cargo. I'll just say cargo animals. Like, maybe there's a giant ape in there. You know what? I have a giant ape. Let's start off with that. Second room. Strictly 5e, so I don't mind if you include monsters from other games. The thing I think I mind is whether or not I have to put them into my... Can I search this? If I control F. Oh, those are magic items. Okay, so that's irrelevant. I don't want to add a bunch of stat blocks. But maybe I add some traps. Gotta use gnolls because they got Hynodon. Let's see. This be fun. Rock slime, rock swarm. Maybe I do use those. Bears, dragons. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of new people here. Jeez. Vampires. Third room. Cargo animals. Fourth room. We'll say Neogi. Maybe the Neogi are prisoners. Screw them. Let's say the fifth room has a side passage. No, has a chute leading to the lower floor. Because we're going to say, if I have an elevator here, we're going to say that it trying to go beneath the second floor is going to run up against a blockage. Third floor. I say gravity is reversed. For this floor, there is a resonance seed. You guys don't need to worry about what that means. Resonance seed stuck in the elevator. Let's... And they'll probably include some natural critters here. Who knows what? If I'm following the ideas, patrons are to establish the powers of the realm, so help create a persistent living setting. Yes, that is the purpose of patrons. If I go to LB, I just go to LB anything. What's that going to bring? Let's go to drive. Don't give me that one. Where is it? I know it's around here. Rules? Maybe rules. Characters. I had details about this. Yeah, let's see here. Patron limits. Patrons must be of an appropriate recruitment cost. Establish alignment. Yeah. Patron relationships. Patron decks. You cannot maintain a meaningful campaign if strict restrictions on patron relationships are not kept. Always fun. Cool. So... It's been... I did. Inspired largely by the Brosar campaigns, because I wanted patrons to be a default of whatever major game I worked on next. Aberrations. Do I do aberrations or trolls? You know what? We're going to do mind-controlled trolls. Mind-controlled fire. Trolls. Cool. Roots. And then... yeah. Fifth room, there will be the subject of today's rescue. So, today's... I broke one of my rules for conversations, presentations, debates, etc. The purpose of tonight's session is something like... How long ago? You know what? Looking on the in-game calendar is not even going to give me a rough idea is how long ago this was. But the players were going around this area. There's a adventuring in Brunlock. It's right about where we picked up a few new players. One of our new injections of new players, right? And docked off the coast of Brunlock is what's basically a cruise ship. What's being used as a cruise ship. It's like a floating inn. It's known as the White Ark of Brunlock. And folks use it as like I said, it's a floating inn. But what folks don't know, nobody knows where it came from. It is too big to float on the rivers that supply this lake, or go down. So it's locked to this. You know, what is this, like roughly Mediterranean-sized lake here? sea. The folks took it so that they, or rode along to attempt to assist the captain as he was moving along, and the players wanted to get something else done at the same time. They wanted to investigate this area because there was a potential sun shrine here, which they did find. While they were here, they received a vision. They got attacked by a undead mercury dragon, and while they were here, they received a vision when they activated the sun shrine of a fey creature, of a fey lord, who is in a dungeon somewhere underneath the mountain, or one of the mountains. This being like sort of my stand-in Isle of Dread, right? Maybe I'll be making use of this as an Isle of Dread, maybe. The advantage of grand campaigns like this is that you get to just take modules that are old, often really not complete games, but if you don't treat modules as complete games, just start like dropping them across the map, they're super easy content that you could be relatively certain don't prepared content you can be relatively certain will not obviate the rest of the game because the players have already been trained on exploration, on mass combat, on domain management, and faction management. In this Fey in the bottom of in the basement here is Taliesin, admirer of heaven, saint, soul saint of the Clover Court. Save this, and close it, and hope that everything's been maintained. Perfect. I'm going to open up another notes section. Just briefly, I think. For a new journal entry. Yeah. We'll title this page Rescue, just so that we have some stuff available. We have has been kept chained up by aberrations from the far north for some time. He alone, of all the lords and ladies of the Clover Court, attempted to continue. Yes, they do want to free this Fey Lord because he's going to provide them with some resources, very important resources, if they can leverage him properly for defeating Kings of Fame, the Witch King of the Hyperreal Court. All the lords and ladies of the Clover Court attempted to continue his ballads past the sun's blessing, but was imprisoned 100 years ago, immediately before he could arrive. I was probably going to ask, what is a ballad? Reenact with the turning of seasons to enforce or climb on the natural world. Seasons simply bring it upon us. To a ballad. Along with the angel. What's a good angel name? Angel, we're gonna call him Christopher. We're gonna go with a K. We'll say Dagon. Why not? He's a tentacle guy. Back in the deep. Back to the deep. He's always possessed during this banishment. And while the law of ballads usually forces them to play out the same way each time, Dagon is a poor sport and often changes which of us he is inclined to possess. A little bit for there. We're having a 4-floor dungeon. I am not anticipating that the players will want to play through Talison's Ballad tonight, and it would likely take them some extra travel time. But they are flying dragons. I don't know if the folks going tonight are flying dragons. But they also have an airship, and at this point, it's time for me to create some items here. So Troop is not arriving tonight. I don't have to worry about him. Some of the other folks are not arriving tonight, but there is a horde that the folks recently picked up from Salile's Spire that Para will have access to, and also Landy will have access to. So, alright. Alright, so we got two options here. First option is, and we could explore both of these, but I need two things from you folks. One is I need recommendations for magic items that should be in a small horde, along or created by or stockpiled by Fey Lord. The second thing I need is generators for determining what items go in. Like random generators I could just roll on 10 times. The ones from 5th edition usually suck. 5e magic item generators. You know what? No, so magic, that's a general. I should do table. 5e magic item tables. Hey. Okay. Yeah, I've been on this one too. Something like that. Save. Yeah, so I don't like these ones, especially because this is from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Maybe I do use the updated table. Yeah, post it in chat. I feel like these pirates should have a bunch of gunpowder weapons. That will be fun. Surely this person could have afforded like a web page or something. Maybe I need to do that. Okay. And a magic table I. Okay. I don't know how to solve this. We're gonna do 1d10 minus 1. We'll just do 1d10. If I get a 10, it's gonna be dealer's choice. 3. This is neat. This is neat. And then 1d100. Let's see what we got. We got an 8. Table C. Why did they list these all? Oh my god. Why did this person just list these all the way down the line? It's very nice of them that they made this magic on a table, but like this could have been way easier. Already. Made their own job way easier. 8. A potion of frost giant strength. Okay. Wait, no, I shouldn't be writing. Where do I write this? Journal entry? Journal. Cool. So let's allow us forward. Add page. Alright, so potion of frost giant strength. What's up next on the thing? I'll be a result of 89 on table D. So he just has the 5e tables with the roller built into it? Yeah. No worries. Magic item table D. Where's 89? Orb of the Veil. What the hell is that? Well, I do all this. I can open up the running an import. Bolts and supernatural boons. That's not what we're looking for. Version options. Ooh, hazards. What the heck? Interesting. Anyways. Hey, Orb of the Veil. It's here. Okay. We're gonna click import. Just got, yeah, that's right. They just got the drift globe. This onyx sphere bears steep spiraling grooves and dangles from an iron chain. While the orb is on your person, you gain the following benefits. Your score increases by 2, as does your maximum for that score. Gain dark vision out to a range of 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, the orb increases its range by 60 feet. Have advantage on wisdom checks to find hidden doors and paths. There's a curse. Huh. All non-magical flames within 30 feet of you automatically extinguish. fire damage dealt by you is halved. That'd be really interesting, going into an active volcano. This will be fun. Another one. Slash R 1d10. 9. Okay, that's table I, which I think is the highest rarity. 19. A greater silver sword. What the hell is a greater silver sword? It's not a magic item. I don't think it is. Let's open up plutonium. Open importer. Just look up silver. What do I get? Greater silver. Hey, what do you want? Look at that. Oh. Okay. This magic. Oh, it's like a Githyanki sword. Interesting. This was a plus for greatsword. We're gonna do. How many was that? That was 3 so far. Yeah, we're gonna do 3 more, and then I'm gonna select some custom items. That's table C again. 48. We'll see. Dodecahedron of Doom. Interesting. Already. I'm into it. Maybe they... Dodecahedron. This 12-sided metal die is 12 inches across. There's numbers 1 through 12 engraved on its pentagonal sides. Let's see, the dodecahedron contains arcane clockwork mechanisms that whir and click whenever the die is cast. The dodecahedron can be hurled up to 60 feet as an action. A random magical effect occurs when the die comes to rest after rolling across the ground for at least 10 feet. If an effect requires a target and no eligible target is within range, nothing happens. Spells cast by the dodecahedron require no components. Roll a d12 and consult the following table to determine the effect. Alright, well, the first result is that it explodes. Also, and is destroyed. Cool. Let's see here. Cast Light on itself, cast Ray of Frost, cast Shocking Grasp. Like, sure that touches it. Cast Darkness on itself, and the next person to touch it gets 1d10 temporary hit points. Why the hell does this thing exist? Alrighty, well, I'm sure that that will come up later. And the players will have some zany use for it. And I have, jeez, okay. Unbelievable. Alright, 5. That is table E. Result of 13. Oh, that's a little bit of a range. All right, spell scroll, 8th level. Jeez. Fine. I guess every time you roll the die, you're hoping that it detonates. It's the world's worst bomb. Most unreliable bomb. Let's go to D&D Beyond. We're going to look at some 8th level spells. Spells view all. View all. Okay, 8. Jeez. Alright, what do we got? Ooh. Here we are. Animal shapes. Interesting. Maybe it would be that. Control weather. I feel like my players actually have quite a few of those. Quite a few artifacts, or not necessarily artifacts, but items that let them control weather. Mighty Fortress. That might be interesting. Mighty Fortress might be. This stockpile was intended to. I love that it has 12 sides, but they can only think of 6 results. Well, it's WotC. Come on, what are you gonna do? Reality break. Hey, that sounds pretty cool. But I don't think that is what they're intending. Sunburst. Maybe. Maybe I do. Alright, so it's a toss-up between, do I give them Sunburst or do I give them a Mighty Fortress? I can think of either of these being perfectly acceptable, perfectly useful if this stockpile was set up to prepare for the coming frost. As to smell somewhere else, the fortress harmlessly crumbles and sinks back into the ground. You know what? We're gonna do Mighty Fortress. Mighty Fortress. We got 2 votes for. Yep. Okay. Mighty Fortress it is. Five. All right. We got 1 left before we start moving on to custom items. 2. That's table B. For 97. Uncommon Glamour Weave. I already know what that is. It's not terribly impressive. Alright, so we're going to look up 2 other things. 5e magic items for mounts. GM binder. Jones from mount. They give. Let's look down my magic list. So Hearth Wand of Eclipse. Hearth Wand of the Bonfire, which was my solution to 5th edition's concentration, was at the very least I could give people some custom magic items to finish. the effect of it. So we're going to include those, and then we're going to move on to back. Alright, so let's say I look up bridle. Bits and bridle for, okay, cool, nothing. How about a saddle? Exotic saddle, military saddle, pack saddle, riding saddle, saddle of the cavalier. I guess one of those is going to be in there. Maybe two. Cool. I want to create an item. All right, let's say I create an item. There's absolutely nothing for 5th edition mounts. This is really annoying. If it's a weapon, equipment. This is going to be equipment. Cool. We're going to say +3 bridle. New item. Description, equipment type. It's not armor. It's yeah, vehicle equipment. That sounds about right. Aha! It's actually a mount. Wearing this bridle, the mount has bonus all attack and damage rolls. Save it. Cool. Add another one. Let's do Coral Barding. Immune to cold damage. Additionally, will hit the barding while within feet of it. Take half. Hit the creature. Hit the wearer. Within 5 feet of it. Suffer half the damage they dealt in poison damage. Maybe I'll do a language pass on that. Just duplicate that. Duplicate that. Watsy needs to hire one of those. Hey, Doof. Watsy needs to hire one of those horse girls onto their team to make more mounted equipment. Yeah, that would be fun. Alright, we're going to expand this. Sorry, Lisa Frank. Who's Lisa Frank? Oh, damn it. Alright, looks like I'm not getting that keyboard today. That's fine. Free shipping to my address. And get it by Monday, April 10th. Huh, that's annoying. Why did they say it was available? I may be older than you, and I'm only 25 years old. Anyways, alright, so I think I got a pretty good setup for tonight. So do you remember seeing colorful trapper keepers featuring rainbows and horses? Featuring rainbows and horses and unicorns in school. I think I did. And yes, I am. Alright, if I want to do one last thing, yes, I could. I could finish up one of these magic items that I've been working on. Close that. I want to get back to it. I'll get back to that person stream. Likely those were made by the company, Lisa Frank. Any relation to a woman named Lisa Frank, by any chance? Any relation to Anne Frank, by any chance? I don't know why I'm asking that. It's some fun. Illusory deck. I started doing a new take on the illusory deck. We're trying this again. Come to location of it. Look what they finally added this feature. We're gonna need a different page. Need to give both of you a page. Document this. This is a founder, but I'm unclear as to how many of those were done by her personally. Interesting. Fortunately, I'm inside your walls. Okay. So. Alrighty. So. Up to this me. Okay, so. There's a magic item in 5th edition called... Go here. Ah, yes. Deck of Illusions. This box contains a set of parchment cards. A full deck has 34 cards. I don't know why they have... A deck found as treasure is usually missing 1d20 minus 1 cards. The magic of the deck functions only if the cards are drawn at random. You can use an alter deck of playing cards to simulate the deck. You can use an action to draw a card at random from the deck and throw it to the ground at a point within 30 feet of you. An illusion, what are you hiding? Of one or more creatures forms over the thrown card and remains until dispelled. An illusory creature appears real, of the appropriate size, and behaves as if it were a real creature, except that it can do no harm, because it's 5th edition and illusions suck and are not cool. While you are within 120 feet of the illusory creature and can see it, you can use an action to move it magically anywhere 30 feet of its card. Any physical interaction with the illusory creature reveals it to be an illusion because objects pass through it. Someone who uses an action to visually inspect the creature identifies it as illusory with a successful DC 15 intelligence investigation check. The creature then appears translucent. The illusion lasts until its card is moved or the illusion is dispelled. When the illusion ends, the image on its card disappears, and that card can't be used again. Alright, now, it's probably pretty obvious. Yeah, Rube just a boy. It's probably pretty obvious what I dislike about this spell, or about this item. Everybody have a clear idea? Yeah. It sucks, because illusions can't do anything. Now, I don't know why that is. If you go back to Chainmail, if you go back to my redesign, Phantasmal, if I go down to Phantasmal Force, redesign. Yep, it's on here. A ton of redesigns. Literal ton. Phantasmal Forces. There we go. So I had forward on illusions. This is probably going to turn into a video somewhat soon. Historical spell. Yeah. The creation of an apparition of a unit or creatures for 4 turns, maximum duration. So you could, like... Yeah. Damage caused to viewers of a phantasmal force will be real if the illusion is believed to be real. 5th edition doesn't have that. In fact, 5th edition has an awful lot of text explaining why it can only deal 1d6 psychic damage and nothing else to one creature. I had a slightly different thing. Let's see here, Phantasmal Forces. You create the illusion of hostile creatures in a single target's mind, forcing them to make an intelligence saving throw, ending the spell immediately on a success. Deals 1d6 psychic damage, just high enough to hit the target's AC at the time the spell was cast, dealing 1d6 plus your intelligence modifier in psychic damage. I should have deleted this line. This is good for the upcoming script. Let's see here. A company of archers shooting at stuff until touched by something. Yeah, brilliant. Target can repeat the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. If the phantasm reduces its target to 0 hit points, it falls unconscious. You can target a new creature on subsequent turns as an action. Creatures knocked unconscious by the spell appear as additional phantasms to new targets. So if you knock somebody down with this, if you knock a goblin down, all of a sudden there's 2 goblins. And then you start targeting new people. Something that the original spell, or not the original spell, the 5th edition version doesn't do. And then, oh, I did, okay, so I did fix this. Cool. When you cast a spell at 3rd level or higher, the spell spawns an additional phantasmal creature for each slot level above 2nd. When cast at 5th level or higher, it can instead be used to create a phantasm of a unit in mass combat, 1 additional unit for every slot level above 5th. The unit shares the statistics, such as damage, of a unit you can perceive or currently control, but otherwise acts as per the spell's directives. That's fun. So this is an example of an illusion doing something properly. Right? It's supposed to hurt people, it's supposed to knock them down. Maybe it doesn't actually kill them, right? The damage is quite literally illusory, but it's supposed to have an effect. So that's my task for fixing this item. The other thing I did was ensure that it could be reused. So you can probably guess. You don't need to go through like the technicalities of what exactly I'm going to do with the illusory deck. I will post a screenshot, however, on the community tab of my channel later. But I want to include a function for basically reusing expended cards. So when a card has been used, it becomes nearly transparent and loses all of its art. The art can be replaced by a creature or spell of equal or higher CR as the one on the card. given the following conditions. No more than 2 weeks has passed since the card was last used. You spend 10 minutes of study looking at the subject, unless you cast a spell you're attempting to copy. Unless you can cast a spell you're attempting to copy, and you make a successful check with painter's supplies equaling 10 plus the creature's CR, or 20 plus the spell's level. Yes. No, I'm very familiar with the fantasy trip. Who wants you had such a terrible experience with Illusionist that they did this? They're probably one of those GMs that say, well, the monsters do... the monsters don't care about the horde of armed guards that you just conjured in their heads. And they turn around and attack you anyways. Right, that's the idea. Yes. Disbelieve was a basic spell in the fantasy trip in Wizard. That was available to pretty much all characters. Relatively simple to perform, but it required time. Right? It was a resource. You would have to do that as opposed to something else. Durian the Sleepy says, isn't it funny? In retrospect, Illusionist was the first wizard subclass. It is kind of funny. But remember, RPGs just get worse over time. Yeah, it is a GM AI, which is why all of my spell redesigns typically do something like with the illusory deck. I'm just going to say the creature or spell deal damage once per round. They deal damage once per round. If it's solidifying its reality in damaged targets mind. I might just say the creature or see. I might change that once per round thing. Bonbon says power is back after 2 days without electricity. Holy crap, dude. I hope your fridge is okay. Is refrigerator running? Congratulations. Power's back on. Okay. So I'll probably fix up that once per round thing, but solidifying its reality for a damaged target's mind. If a damaged target succeeds on a DC 15 investigation check or intelligence. Let's just say DC 15 investigation check. The damage is removed. Or the damage, I might say restored. I might just say healed. First, the damage is reversed. By a illusion, falling unconscious instead, as illusionists should be able to do. They should be able to just knock people out of the fight, knock people unconscious. But the trick is that you can reverse some of the damage, right? You can reverse. They're not actually. If somebody manages to get them back into the fight, you just waste a whole bunch of resources for maybe a little bit of time. but that might have been better spent on a fireball. Creature spell may deal damage. So, there's a huge chill storm in Quebec, but our boys are hard at work. Everything's fine. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. I'm preparing for a session in about an hour and a half, which means I'm probably going to move on to map making in a hot second. Creature or spell may deal damage on turn, solidifying its reality and target's mind. If a damage target succeeds on DC 15 investigation check, the damage is reversed. Creatures reduced to 0 hit points do not die if some of those hit points were removed by an illusion, falling unconscious instead. Cool. The damage is then reversed. Hit point or more. After the illusion disappears. So you're falling asleep instead. Paladin Smites in the title. It was a very brief explanation of why Paladin Smites are bad. We're probably not doing a large video on that. No, look at it. There's not a lot of content there to be done about. But I am kind of excited because I think we should be getting a new Unearthed Arcana probably in the next 2 weeks. And that'll be good for some channel content. I should also do a video about the Creator Summit. I don't know. I'm at a loss for whatever our next video is going to be, but figure it out. Mostly because there's a lot of different options. Okay, so creature spell may deal damage on your turn, solidifying its reality. A spell always succeed on their attack rolls. And always deal, you know what? Always deal maximum damage. Can't use spells. Or they can't use spells. And may only attack once per turn. The rest of this is just determining how many cards we have. Let's see, your playing cards, ace of hearts, blah, 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 blah. Jeez, they had plenty. Phew. Many of those. All right, so I think we're about done. It was fun. Why have I been streaming for 2 hours? I don't know why I've been. Yeah. Anyways, all right, folks. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna finish up getting ready here. I need to make the actual dungeon levels and populate them a little bit. That was fun. Good luck to you too, buddy, and happy Good Friday to all. Peace.